Welcome to the boardroom. Have a seat. I'll be your managing director for today's explainer, and we're executing a high-level briefing on an academic portfolio that honestly trips up way too many candidates. We're talking about the Cambridge AS level Afrikaans syllabus, specifically diving into the tricky topic area of employment, job opportunities, qualifications, and unemployment. Look, we are going to completely elevate your approach today. We're tossing out the old textbook mindset. From this moment on, we are treating your exam response exactly like a high-stakes executive pitch.
Okay, let's dive into this corporate meeting itinerary that is absolutely going to elevate your responses to executive consultant standards. We've got 1, the proposal brief, 2, the structural strategy debate, 3, fixing the pitch, 4, a live audit workshop, and finally, closing the deal. Let's get to work.
Right, Section 1, the proposal brief. Time to decode the client.
So, who is the client? Your examiner. And we need to understand exactly what they are buying. This is your high-stakes brief. The client demands a connected, conceptual understanding that is completely transferable to unfamiliar contexts. What does that actually mean for you? It means you aren't just memorizing a vocabulary list for urban job markets and calling it a day. No way. You've got to master the core underlying principles so deeply that if the examiner suddenly throws a completely new rural agricultural scenario at you in Afrikaans, you don't freeze. You pivot. You seamlessly adapt your analysis to fit that new data. That kind of agility, that is the absolute hallmark of an elite, top-tier response.
Now look at this quote. The academic benchmarks are incredibly clear here. The framework prioritizes analytical depth over superficial breadth. Think of your examiners as your most demanding shareholders. They don't want a rambling, shallow list of 50 loosely related Afrikaans vocabulary words thrown onto the page. That's a huge waste of their time. Instead, they want you to take, say, 2 core ideas about youth qualifications and drill down into them with absolute precision and logic. They want depth, they want structure.
Moving on to Section 2, the structural strategy debate. Let's look at exactly where most candidates drop the ball.
Let's run a quick case study. Imagine 2 junior consultants trying to win this contract. First, we have consultant Alex. Alex relies entirely on superficial breadth. They are just machine-gunning raw stats about South African youth unemployment onto the page. Excellent data points, sure, but completely ignoring the specific context asked for in the brief. Then, on the other side, we have consultant Sam. Sam has beautiful Afrikaans phrasing, highly persuasive tone, a real silver tongue, but there's absolutely no physical asset backing. Zero evidence pulled from the provided text. Terrible formatting. So, who secures the contract? Neither. Alex has the facts but totally lacks structure and context. Sam has the flair but completely lacks evidence. In the Cambridge boardroom, both of these pitches fail the compliance standards.
So you might be wondering, how do we actually fix this? This brings us to a critical crossroads in our strategy. How do we optimize our presentation to meet all compliance standards? How do we take the hard, factual data of Alex's approach, combine it with the persuasive flow of Sam's approach, and merge them into an airtight, evidence-based, perfectly formatted response?
That brings us to Section 3, fixing the pitch.
Actually, right before we reveal the compliance matrix to fix this, I have a quick, essential directive for you. To ensure your academic portfolio remains highly competitive, you need to be constantly refining your approach. So, hit subscribe on our channel Ace the Exams. That's @Ace the Exams, and enable your notifications. Think of our weekly consulting insights as your continuous professional development. You've got to keep your strategies sharp.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact matrix we need. Here is the official procedural framework required for the employment topic. This is your holy grail. First up, data interpretation. You must accurately extract the right info from the Afrikaans texts or tables and actively interpret the relationships. Next, systematic processing. Please, whatever you do, don't just list facts. You have to apply relevant economic or social principles to your text and execute a clear logical analysis. It's about showing the why. And finally, presentation. Proper headings, the correct terminology, clear annotation. If your formatting is a mess, the shareholders tune out immediately.
Section 4, the live audit workshop. Time to put you under a little pressure.
Imagine a 60-second visual timer is ticking down on the wall right now. You're handed a highly complex Afrikaans text block all about qualifications. What's your first move? You run it straight through this 3-step critical analysis pipeline. Step 1, deconstruct. Identify the given info and break that text down into logical steps. Step 2, solve. Apply your principles systematically. Ask yourself, does my conclusion about these job market trends actually make real-world sense? Step 3, evaluate. This is where the top-tier candidates live. You question the underlying assumptions and you make highly justified recommendations, heavily backed by evidence directly from the passage.
Now listen up, because I need to issue a massive shareholder alert right here. This comes straight from the principal examiner reports, and it is absolutely crucial. Students bleed marks by not showing they're working. Hear me on this. Even if your final conclusion regarding an unemployment scenario is totally off the mark, your visible, logical method can save your score. Method marks are literally your ultimate risk mitigation strategy. Do not ever hide your thought process from the examiner. Show them how you got there.
To further protect your investment, your overall score, you need to actively audit for these top 3 critical risks. Risk number 1, using the wrong approach for the wrong context. Risk number 2, completely forgetting to check your format and presentation before submitting. And risk number 3, providing answers that are not specific to the context given. If that Afrikaans source text is talking specifically about rural job opportunities, there is absolutely no way you should be handing in a generic, pre-memorized answer about urban corporate qualifications. Context is king. If you ignore the context, you lose the pitch.
Finally, Section 5, closing the deal. Let's wrap this up and look at the final draft.
All right, cameras out, because here is your ultimate executive framework summary checklist. This is highly actionable. Whenever you are evaluating employment scenarios, you must identify similarities and differences. Always use your comparative connectives naturally in your Afrikaans phrasing. You have to support absolutely every comparison with hard evidence from the text. Be bold, draw clear conclusions about their relative importance. And lastly, verify your results and present the whole shebang in the appropriate professional format.
So, I leave you with this final thought. Will your next exam response be just another standard, forgettable, run-of-the-mill essay? Or is it going to be an undeniable, high-scoring executive proposal? The blueprint is literally right here in your hands. Ask yourself this as you walk into your next exam. When the examiner hands you an entirely unfamiliar scenario about the global job market, are you just going to recite facts like consultant Alex, or are you ready to step up and consult? If you are ready to dominate your academic portfolio, you need to subscribe to @AceTheExams right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a briefing, and drop a comment below with your current tier and target subject. Thank you for joining this explainer. Class dismissed.